Hi everyone, welcome to the Intro to Augmented Reality and Creating Instagram Filters class. Together we'll be learning how to create Instagram filters for yourself, your business, or your brand using Spark AR software, as well as having a short introduction into what AR is and how it goes hand in hand with Instagram filters. So if you've ever wanted to get into tech and you didn't know where to start, or you've wanted to create a filter for your page, then you've come to the right place. There's no need for you to have any experience prior, as this is a beginner's class and you'll be able to add the work that you do here to your portfolios. On today's agenda, you will learn an introduction of who your teacher is, myself. I'll give you a short introduction into what Oddspace is, and then I'll move along and give you an introduction into what is AR and how we can use it in our day-to-day lives, etc. Then we'll move on to learning about Spark AR, which is the software that is created by Instagram to create our Instagram filters. And then along from that, we'll start creating the filters. And then after that, we'll be saving them and uploading them onto Instagram. And then you guys can add them to your portfolio and just build on your knowledge, which will then allow you to get augmented reality jobs if you wanted to, or to just do them for yourself or your friends. I'm Parola, your teacher for today. I'm a UX specialist at a pharmaceutical company working on clinical trials. And I'm also an XR creator and an overall creative technologist. Previously, I was a founder of a Forbes featured agency known as Clamp Digital Agency, and now I'm currently the founder of experimental design and technology company Oddspace. So a little bit more about me, if you're new here. My journey into tech pretty much started after I dropped out of university. I then went on to be a junior software engineer at TalkTalk. And then after some time, I decided that I didn't want to code anymore, but I still really liked the product element of technology. So I went on to design, and then I basically started learning all about UX, UI. And for those who don't know, UX, UI stands for user experience and user interface design. And then I did a course, and then in the midst of that, I was doing daily design challenges where I was basically coming up with design concepts every day for probably a couple of weeks or a month. Actually, to be fair, it was a bit sporadic. I'll do it from time to time. And then after that, I discovered AR, and I started creating AR mobile app concepts. And then at the same time, Instagram had launched their Spark AR software, which is basically where you create AR experiences. So as this was launched, this basically became my entry point into creating filters. And after that, I started learning and sharing my work online. Every time I learned something and shared it online, that got me clients. And then it just basically became a cycle. I'd make something, share it online, and then I gained clients or people inquiring for my services. And then the rest is pretty much just history. So as you can see on this slide, in between the time that I was a founder, a UX UI designer, and a software engineer, I've worked with all of these companies, or I've been featured in their article. Through using AR, I've been able to create various AR experiences, including one of my most recent experiments at Oddspace, which was a AR sustainable greeting card, which is basically a greeting card you'll send to someone, and when they receive it, they will follow the instructions that's on it, which says tap here. So you will tap on it, it would create an AR experience, and then it's sustainable because you can basically reuse it over and over again. During this video, you've probably heard me mention Oddspace a few times. So what is Oddspace? You're probably thinking. Essentially, Oddspace is an experimental design and technology company. At Oddspace, we aim to create unique and sustainable products, both physical and digital, using emerging technology for Web3 as well as Web2. And in the near future, look out for a lot more experiments, a lot more collaborations, and some more classes as well, because I want to teach you guys how to do a lot of the stuff that I've been able to do that's allowed me to collaborate with brands and just make money, basically. So again, during this video, you've probably heard me mention AR so much. What is AR, augmented reality? Well, essentially, it's just placing a digital overlay onto the real world and enhancing your view of the world through devices such as mobile phones or spectacles. So, like some examples are Pokemon Go, the IKEA app, which allows you to try furniture out in your home to see what it would look like. Google also have a sky map that basically allows you to view your the stuff in your surroundings. And then you have other companies like you have other entities, sorry, like the US Army who use it to train soldiers, and they call it synthetic training environment. And then you have like the Gatwick passenger app, which basically shows you how to navigate through the airport to your terminal. And then the medical industry also use it to train up their surgeons and stuff. So here are some tools for you guys to look at if you want to look further into augmented reality. You don't have to just use Spark AR. If I was starting out again at the beginning of my journey, these are definitely the ones that I would check out. So first we have Lens Studio, which is Snapchat's product, which basically allows you to create filters for Snapchat. And then we have Spark AR, which is Instagram's product, and it allows you to create Instagram filters and Facebook filters and filters for when you're doing video calls on Instagram and Facebook as well. Then beside it, we have Adobe's augmented reality product called Dimensions. And this basically allows you to easily upload 3D models or things. It could be an animal, it could be a house, it could be a shoe, whatever it is. It allows you to simply just place the object into your space. Like you can literally download that now onto the apps from the app store and test it out on your phone if you wanted to, but that's not what we'll be using today. And then we have Effect House, which is TikTok's augmented reality app software that allows you to create filters for TikTok to use on your TikTok videos. Then lastly, we have Unity. Unity is a good starting point if you want to create AR applications that are available to download from the App Store, or even web experiences. So experiences where you can just connect to a domain and then you can send it off to other people and then they can experience this augmented reality experience through the web, basically. With Unity, though, it's a lot more advanced, so you would need to know a programming language called C#. But today we will be using Spark AR for this class. So what I would want you guys to do is I would want you guys to click on the Spark AR link. And then once you do that, I'm going to basically show you guys how to download the Spark AR software. So once you've clicked on that link, you should tap on Get Started, and then you log into your Facebook at that point. So log in. And then your dashboard, if you don't have any filters already, would look very simple. Then what you would want to do is go onto your picture And when you click on your picture, it will say download Spark AR Studio. Agree to the terms and conditions. Feel free to read them. And then it should start downloading. So once you have downloaded it, it should look something like this. So you have some templates down here, which basically allows you to build off other projects really quickly. Yeah, it could literally be anything from real world objects you can scale. You can create some sort of concept around wings, eye colors, voice changes, makeup, body movements, which would be cool as well for clothing and stuff. 3D AR experiences. So what I want you guys to do now is if you tap on learn as well, you can see more resources as well, where you can learn about making filters. I want you guys to go to create new, and then we're going to open up a blank project. So your project should look something like this. You have the scene panel over here, and this is basically where you want to add objects that make up the effect. As I get into it, you will understand a bit better what I mean by that. And then like focal distance, for example, it just gives your filter lightning to give it that real world effect. And then the layers panel is basically to just organize your objects within your scene panel, because you might want something on top of the other. So you would do that using layers. And then if you click on here, the plus button, that basically allows you to add objects into the scene panel. So you can basically add face trackers, plane trackers, hand trackers, etc. As we get into it, you will familiarize yourself with it as well. Here, this is the camera view, and this is basically where you can view the effect, and you can also view yourself. If you turn on the camera, that will show you a video of yourself through the camera on your computer. And it's really useful for when you're creating effects, so you can see what it looks like on yourself. Then we have the assets panel down here, and here's basically where you can add objects to the project, but they won't be added into the scene. So this would be stuff like, let's say if you added in an object into your scene panel, and let's say it was a square and you wanted to add like color or texture to it, you will do that in your assets panel. And let's say, for example, if you wanted to add something 3D into your scene, that will also be done in your assets panel. And then on the right-hand side, you have your properties panel, which basically when you select on your objects on either panel, it allows you to add properties to it, as it's called, properties. Then we have the patch editor, which is basically where you would add interactions or logic into like advanced effects. Like let's say if you wanted your effect to move around or just do something crazy, it would be the patch editor where you add in your logic. And then here we have where you would test your effect, whether that's on your mobile phone. So like you can get it to send a link to your Instagram or Facebook, or if you have the Spark AR app, feel free to download that onto your phone. You can connect it using a USB and have the effect on your phone as well that way. But I personally just use the Instagram one because I feel like it's the easiest. So for this part of the class, we will be creating a random selector head/face filter. Previously, I got to make a filter for Tion Wayne through Atlantic Records. And for those who don't know, Tion Wayne is a UK rapper, and the filter was for his Body song. Question card was who had the hardest verse on the Body remix, and then it filtered through all the names and then it randomly land on one. So to begin, I want you guys to go on some sort of photo editing software. So I'm using Figma. Figma is a free software you can download from Google. If not Figma, you can also use Canva or even Photoshop. So I have a question card, I have and free answer cards. And what is also very important for you guys to do is after you've created your filter, after you've created the question card and the answer cards, make sure that you take off the opacity of that image so that they're all transparent, and then save them onto your computer. Now, once you get onto Spark AR, I want you guys to, after you finish creating all your cards, you can have as many answers as you like, and just make sure you have one question. So after you do that, I want you guys to go into the assets panel and upload the question card. So from computer, I've got mine saved here, question. And as you can see, that is down there. Then I want you guys to go onto the plus button again. And this time I want you guys to add an animation sequence, and you'll see why in a second. And we can just name it to answer. And then after that, on the animation sequence, I want you guys to go into the texture and new texture. And then I want you guys to select all of your answer cards except for question. And then go open. And then make sure you have looped ticked so that it can keep looping over and over again. And make sure you have randomized so it can be randomly selected as well. After that is done, I want you guys to select none for compression. And then now to get straight into it, I want you guys to go back onto the scene panel, and I want you guys to add a face tracker, which is up here. Insert. And then within the face tracker, I want you guys to add 2 planes. And then I also want you to add a null object. Null objects basically allows you to organize your objects within the scene. So now I want you guys to make both planes the child of the null object. So if you just drag them onto the null object, now they are children of the null object. Now I want you guys to make the null object the child of the face tracker. So now the planes are children of the null object, and the null object is a child of the face tracker. Now you can see it here on the face. I would suggest clicking over here for pause so that the face isn't moving around while we're doing this, because then it just makes it a bit messy for us. So what you want to do is now lift that above the head. And then you would select onto the plane and then maybe rename it to start. And then the other one to answers. And then back to start and click on material. Then you change the material name to start. And then you go into answers, create a material. And then you would make that answers. And then when you do that, make sure that the shader type is flat, both of them. So now your start material needs to link with your start textures. So for start, you want the question to link with start. So you'll click question. And then for answers, you want that to link with answers. And then as you can see it there, so as you can see, if you press play, it just continuously flips through because there's no logic added in yet, but we will add some logic in the moment so that it works how we want it to. So what we will do now is let's go on to where is it? You want to click show patch editor. So for the patch editor, that's where all the logic happens. So for example, you can create triggers. When you tap on the screen, then the filter will start or the filter will stop. And yeah, this is just where all the magic happens basically. So I want us to start off by going to screen tap. And then this is basically a trigger. And then if you right click again and click switch, I want you guys to link the gesture state to turn on. Then I want you to add another switch and make the output and to turn on, and then the pulse pops up. Again, delay. And so now I want you guys to go back onto the first switch and read it on here. Put the duration of the delay 3, 5, and this is just basically how long it will take to like flip through. So if you press play up here, you'll see. Make it bigger. 2.5. If I did 7, oh, it hasn't updated yet. Okay, let's just leave it at 3.5. And then next, and then I want us to add a post, and then link the post on and off, and turn off. And then after that, I want us to add in a loop animation. Then I want the second switch to link to the loop animation to enable. Now I want us to add in a random patch. Looped to go into randomer. For the duration is for 0.2. So for the duration, let's put 0.02. And then for the ranges, because for example, I've have about 3, and this starts counting from 0, so I would actually put in 2. Now, if you have 5, and that will probably look like 1 to 5, I want you guys to put 4. So because when you're working with logic, the numbers start counting from 0, so 0 counts as 1, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's why you will always have your number and then subtract 1. So yeah, my one is 2. Now what I want us to do is go to the animation sequence, and if you see current frame here, just click this button and then link the random to the current frame, which are all the answers. So now, as you can see, it stopped. And if I do simulate touch, it starts moving again. I'm going to make it bigger in a sec so you guys can actually see that it is moving. Everything. Now what I want you to do is click on answers and start, and then click here where it says visible. Now that we have both of them, I want us to get a knot. And then switch will go to the knot part, then the knot will go to the start, and then you would grab another line for answers. Now, if we just make this a little bit bigger, close it. And if you click the middle of the box, it will make it bigger or equally. And then press play again, and then press the normal arrows on the side. And then because we've simulated touch here, press restart here. You should see the question, and then you press simulate touch, and then it lands on Mango. Now that we've done that, if you wanted to upload this to Instagram again, at first to test it out, so I didn't choose the right file, so I'll go to add experience here. I just want the normal filter for story, so I'll go to insert, choose camera, tick Facebook if I want it Facebook, then done. Then I will send it to Instagram. And then once this is fully loaded, it will come up as a notification on my Instagram notifications or my Facebook ones if I click on Facebook. If you have your mobile phone along with a USB, you can connect it to your PC and then be able to preview it through your phone using the Spark AR app. Now, after you tested it and you're happy with it, again, you can either go file, save, assets, and then I'll save it as random selector, save. And then now if I wanted to publish it and make it go live onto Instagram, I'd go to publish and publish no effect. I can either create a demo now or create it later. So you can, so when you send it to your phone to test it out, you can record a video and save that onto your phone. So what I'm going to do is, So what I will do, obviously it says it meets all the requirements and stuff. If it doesn't, then it will let you know, and then it will tell you what changes to make. So you would go upload. Once this is finished loading, it will open up in your web browser. And then you can choose your filter name, which random fruit. Here is the file of your project. All of your project files will end in .ar export. This is basically what it would look like on your Instagram. You can select your platforms here on where you want to share it. And then you can decide whether you want it to be public on your Instagram as a filter, or if you want it to be a private link for just you and whoever else you want to share it onto. If you choose link only, there's less that you need to do. So you will choose yourself as the owner, the platform, the profile you want to share that filter on. In this case, it's on Space rather than my own personal one. And then you go to publish. If it's a public one, then you can select a category. I'll just choose game. Keywords, I've got fruit, game, whatever suits you. Then here is where you would drop your video to test the file. So yeah, you would record the video and then drop it here. And then once that's done, you'll probably want to read the guidance as well. So here is what you can and you can't do. Right, now if you wanted to, so obviously we would have filled that in already as I showed you guys. The icon would be right here in this little box, or it would be your video thumbnail, whatever you decide to choose. And you can create the little icon on Canva or Photoshop, whatever picture editing software you have. And then you can decide on when you want to post it, if you want it as soon as possible, or if you want to set a time. And then you would click submit, and then you would get a pop-up saying this is your estimated day that your filter will go live. For me, I've been lucky enough to have some of mine go live within the hour or in a few hours. Other times it can take up to a week. So it just depends, I guess, how big your file is and how busy it is on Instagram side to filter out all of the published filters. Now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with Spark AR, I want you guys to create a digital store in augmented reality. So before we start, I want you guys to go down to blender.org and download Blender. And then I want you guys to also go onto theoddspace.com/download me. And then there it will take you to a drive where I want you guys to download the Spark AR toolkit, which is in a zipped folder. Do not unzip it, keep it zipped. And then I also want you to download the file called store.blend. So you pause the video and then come back. Once you've downloaded Blender and you've downloaded the Spark AR toolkit, unzipped, leave it unzipped. I want you guys to open up Blender and then open up the store.blend file. So you can navigate to it just by clicking on file, open, and then navigate into where you saved the store.blend file. And then once you open it, it should look something like this. So to move around, if you are on a Mac, if you just put 2 fingers down, it will allow you to like move around. but that's not important for now. So what I want you guys to do is to basically export this store, and then I want us to customize it inside of Spark AR, because obviously this is not a Blender class, this is a Spark AR class. So I'm not going to go into detail, but what I do want you guys to do, in case the file turns out to be too big, is I want you guys to go to edit, and then go to preferences, and then go on to add-ons. And then if you look for Spark AR Toolkit, you should see it. If it's not ticked, then tick it. If it's not there at all, then I want you to go to install, and then a little pop-up should pop up. And then I basically want you guys to search for that zipped folder that I told you guys to download, the Spark AR Toolkit. So make sure you haven't unzipped it. Once you found it, you click on it and it should come up here. If it doesn't, press refresh, and then it should come up. If it doesn't, then it probably means that you unzipped it. So download it again, leave it zipped, and then go on install, and then it should come up here. So make sure you have that ticked, and then you can close it. And then that will basically give you this panel, the Spark AR Toolkit. So when the 3D model is too big, in order to make it small, is that you basically have to minimize the triangles. So for a lot of these stuff, I've minimized the triangles already. But when you minimize the triangles, it kind of like reduces the sharpness or the quality of it, should I say. So I will literally click on anything. This one's like 900, and then I could be like, reduced by 50%, and then I'll click apply, and then that will reduce it. And if you look on here on this side, the triangles will get smaller as you do that. So basically what you want to do, and then click apply, and then basically the more you do that, the smaller the file goes. But also be careful, look at the detail, because sometimes if you do it too much, it might mess up the detail. So once you have, if you just play around with that for a little bit, you can delete stuff as well to just make things smaller. So you would click on it, you press the X on your keypad, so right next to C and Z, the letter X, and then you'll get delete, and then you just delete that. I'll delete these shoes and delete these boxes. And as you can see, the more I delete it, the smaller the triangles also get. So now I can go onto file. And then at this point, I want you guys to go on to export, because we're going to export it out. So we're able to import it into Spark AR. So when you export it as a .fbx file. So I'll click on here, and then I will just save it as class store. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to go back into Spark AR. And then I want to start off by clicking on the plus button, adding a plane tracker. Adding a plane tracker. Now that turns around the camera, because obviously a plane tracker is for world effects. So stuff that you basically are going to put out into the real world rather than having it project on your face, like the face filters. So now that we've done that, I want us to go down to assets. Actually, we could just go here, import from computer, and then go to downloads, class store, open. Then this is basically the FBX file. And I want us to drag that and drop it onto plane tracker so that it becomes the child of the plane tracker. So as you can see, we are now able to see the store, but obviously it looks really gray because we haven't added any colors or textures onto it. So now this is where the fun part comes in. So if you have two fingers and you just move it forward and back on your trackpad, that basically moves it in and out. And if you right click and then move your mouse, that basically turns it around. But it depends on your mouse settings. That's how I do it on my computer. So you would have to figure out, depending on what your mouse settings are set to, you would have to figure out how to make it fit onto your controls. So to begin customizing, let's say, for example, I want to add color to the curtains. All of the current colors on this is set to Lambert. We can actually change, we can keep that on Lambert. We can keep it as our first color and we can just rename it to, rename it? Okay, maybe we can't. Okay, so let's go back to curtains. Instead, do create new material. So as you can see down here, it creates a new material, and then we can rename it to curtain. And then we can add texture. Actually, no, let's not add a texture. We can add a color. So if I wanted pink curtains, actually, do I want pink? I think I'll go for, and then I'll go okay. And then because I want it to look a lot more realistic rather than, just like a fake color, I will change the shader type to physically based. Okay, which has darkened it now. So let me make it a bit more brighter. Yeah. And then let's say, for example, I want to change the color of a bag. Again, materials, create new material, create some new material. I'll do bag one, bag one. Change the color again, have yellow. Okay. Now, let's say you wanted to give one of your items like a different texture, a different vibe. You would just save the image, downloads, texture, save, and then go back to Spark AR. And then let's say it was this is the rug right here. I would go new material, rename the material to rug, texture, which is choose from file, texture over here, what I got from Google. And then as you can see, that changes it up. And then I can change it to physically based. You can see it there in the camera. I'll change this. I'll just put floor. Should I leave it white? Actually, I'll make it a bit. Yeah. Probably change the curtains now because I want it to match the carpet, kind of. Make it a bit green. I'm just going to crack on with this, and then I'm going to fast forward the video because that's pretty much how you customize the store so you guys can watch and design your store as well. I mean, customize your store as well. So like if I wanted this to be a branded top, it would be a texture on the material. So like where it's got top, I would add a texture instead of a color. Want to make the mannequins black. Black, brown. Don't forget to keep changing up here to physically based. It looks really great. This is the same color as the shelf. Do I? Yeah. I'm just gonna make all the tops the same color. Now for the still texture of things, I'm just going to call it steel. We can play with that a little bit. So if we do not face paint, physically based, if we make it a bit gray, and then add some metallic to it, some roughness, and then we can make this still too. It's gonna be white, so I'm gonna actually no wait. Let me add it to that last. Sure. Delete that. I get the same color as the rug, which is the texture. The bags, colors. As you can see, that is the store. Oh, let me do the other side. Now that you have your store and your store is done, you can now test it out. And using Blender, obviously I'm not going to go into today, but you can literally like add walls and ceilings and stuff so that when you do open it up in your mobile phone, it looks like you're actually inside, but it will look like that. It will look like it's in your space anyway. So what you'll do is you'll go to the phone again, add an experience if it asks you to, sharing experience, insert, done. Then you want it to go to your Instagram or Facebook. I'm going to send it to my Instagram. Might take a while. But basically, once it's sent to my Instagram, oh, there it is. If you go on your phone, it should pop up in your notifications, and then you'll be able to test it out. And I'll just show you a preview of mine. Now again, you'll go into File, Save. And then if you want to export it and upload it as a filter, it meets all the requirements, Instagram's happy, you go to upload. And then you'll pretty much just, like I previously told you, give it a name, my shop. Here's your file, you choose the platforms, do you want it public or private? Select your categories, your keywords. Categories could just be like word effect, store, you can choose up to 20. You open it on your phone, make a recording, upload the file. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So I made a video. So if I go to choose file, downloads, there's a store, then you can just choose what you want your thumbnail to be. And then you can add collaborators if there are any. I think I can add myself. Yes, I can. Ooh, no, I can't. Okay, well, usually you can add collaborators and then you set the time and the date and stuff you want to upload it. We'll just do submit. Now that you submitted, it's saying that it should be reviewed within a few hours, but it could take a few days, and then you just click done. Thank you for joining my class. I hope that it was everything that you expected and more. If you have any more questions, just feel free to drop me an email, follow me on Instagram, follow the Oddspace Instagram. You can also join the Discord community where you can just ask any questions that you need answers to, whether it's review for a project you've done, or if you just want some feedback, whatever it is, just feel free to reach out.